Republican Congressman Jeff Van Drew of New Jersey joins me now. He is working on a bill that would require parents to be notified of any classroom discussion relating to gender identity and sexual orientation. Congressman, thank you very much for being here.
Pleasure to be with you.
What's your feeling about all this?
This is awful. I don't know what we're doing to America in so many different ways, and this is the topper. If I told you a number of years ago that this was actually going to happen in our public schools, you wouldn't believe it. So we're actually going to take little boys and girls that we send to school and start teaching them about gender ID and gender change and other things that just are not appropriate at that age. It's absurd and it's painful, and it's because there's a lot of people who don't, unfortunately, in powerful positions, who don't value the importance of a family. My bill is basically my child, my choice. And what that means is not that you just opt out. It means that nobody can do anything unless you opt in. You have to say that you actually want this before it can ever happen. And I'm telling you, I've talked to a lot of parents, Democrats, Republicans, all sides of the aisle, normal people that do not want this for their children. Very few people are ever going to want to opt in. And if the school system doesn't do it, they would lose their federal funding under this bill, and they should. This is not what America's about. It's not what families are about. It's so harmful.
Well, yeah, and you're going to, I hope, let us know what happens with this bill. But, people are opting out. 43,000 have left the New Jersey school system. And I think that just says that they're voting with their feet. We've seen what's happening. People are making a lot of other choices for their kids. They have, school communities that they're forming. They're homeschooling. They're sending them to Catholic school. They're doing everything that they can because the priority is here's what really gets me, Congressman. These teachers and these school systems and these boards have a responsibility to educate children.
Yes.
We have slipped behind during COVID. Where in any of the mission statements does it say that this falls under the job responsibility of what a kindergarten or first or second grade teacher needs to make sure that student knows before they head home for the summer in June? Where is it in there?
You're right. I mean, this is bizarre. It's harmful. It's hurtful. And let me tell you, it's something that we can't let happen, not only in New Jersey or when it was going to happen in Virginia, but anywhere in the United States. This is just too much. This is just over the line, and we really got to stop it, and it's wrong. So we're going to do everything we can. I know I'm going to get a lot of co-sponsors that nationally this is something that wouldn't be acceptable. It shouldn't be acceptable. And you know what? We used to be on the top 5 of countries in the world as far as our education level and how kids did in reading and math and science, et cetera. We're now dropped. We were 23. Now we're 25. Yeah. Well, and you know who's number one?
This is exactly what drives me crazy. Yeah, number one is China, of course. So if we want to be competitive in the world, we have to focus on teaching children, giving them a great education so that they're going to be strong when they go out into the world and they can be competitive. That's what school is for. And I don't know how we went down this road because we're failing our children. And this has nothing to do with the subject matter. I think any parent, if a child is uncomfortable, a child has questions about any of this, they feel, that this might apply to them, this question of gender, then there are a lot of places where they can be where this can be discussed. Or they can go to their teacher and say, can I talk to someone about this? There's a lot of avenues for this, but this is not something they should be wasting time on. Here's Kellyanne Conway talking about the politics of all of this. Watch this.
Murphy almost lost in New Jersey. He barely won by 3 points, a state that Joe Biden had carried by 16 just a year earlier. And if you listen to some of the parents, they say, listen, I'm a lifelong Democrat. I believe this, that, and the other with the Democratic Party. I align with them on these issues, but nothing is more important than my kid.
You're a former Democrat, Congressman. Do you think this has an impact on party affiliation?
Absolutely. It's just one of the many reasons, and I won't go into the long list. I can't even memorize it at all. It's so long. This Democratic Party is not the party that used to be. And as I've said many times and many other people have said, I didn't leave the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party left me. I would never want to think this would happen to my children. And by the way, some of these kids are going to be forced somehow or pushed into believing things that they naturally and normally wouldn't. Let them just play, let them learn, let them read, let them learn math and all those things that are so important. And as you pointed out, let's get competitive. I want the USA to be #1 in the world.
Yeah,
this is not how we're going to do it.
That's the goal of most parents when they send their kids to school. They'd like them to get an education. Thank you very much, Congressman Van Drew. Great to see you today.